Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
All right, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Queers of Time. Last time, we didn't plan anything, and so we kind of did that again. It turned out weirdly well last time, so we're hoping it turns out well this time. And this episode is going to be, well, we're using it as an excuse for therapy between the three of us. So I hope you like that. It's a group therapy session that we're just sharing with everybody. We are using the topic of men and their non-binariness to talk about our non-binary journeys because none of us are cisgendered. Matt is not here because Matt is a he, him, and we don't have time for that.
We don't have time for cis white male today.
We don't have time for this mess.
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you very much to our Feral Venerator of Swaran. Swaran? Wow, I'm getting creative today. Feral Venerator of Swarain.
There it is.
Swarain.
Swarain.
Lurks. We love you very, very much.
Thank you so much for supporting us. It's been like, what?
Thank you.
Since June. It's been
Yeah.
8 months?
That's wild. Like, we're coming up on the anniversary of, like,
No.
when we first...
Oh, when we first started talking about that.
Yes, when we first started talking about it.
Because that was in March.
March or April? I mean, we're getting there.
It was before JordanCon, and JordanCon was like 22 of April.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy.
We're old now.
We are.
Yeah, kind of.
Old news. Yeah.
Okay, so non-binary and mean. It's
Mm-hmm.
so I think we have basically a document where we have, whenever we have ideas of what we could talk about, we write them down. Otherwise, we are going to forget them because this is us we are talking about, okay?
Yeah, we're not great at remembering things.
No, we're not great at that. And anyway, so I think that a few months ago there was an ongoing discussion on Twitter about mean. And at the end of the day, Robert Jordan not really having the terminology to describe mean's gender identity. So, like, in the books, she's a woman, but is she a woman because there's no alternative?
Yeah.
Right, is she a woman because there are only two options? And to be fair, we've had this discussion many times. There are only two options in Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, is she just a tomboy or is she actually like non-binary?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's we can only make guesses at this time because we don't know what Robert Jordan would do, but she feels very non-binary to me.
Yeah. That is, and I think this is more, towards, I get that vibe more towards the beginning, like,
Yeah.
towards when we first meet her. That is very much the vibe. And then, unfortunately, as she, develops in a relationship with Rand and things kind of fizzle in terms of her storyline, throughout the rest of the series, I think more and more of that vibe sort of goes away. But yeah, she has a very specific non-binary vibe to me.
She has. So when I was first reading the books, I mean, it was also a time where non-binary was not a thing for me because that was 15 years ago. 15 years ago. Yeah, it's not topics that I was aware of at all. So the vibe she was giving me was mostly like not like other girls, which is which is an expression that I hate.
Yes.
Because
Yes. It's misogynistic at its root. Like, it's...
Yeah, because this is the way that you are a girl.
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's misogyny, but there's also a lot of, gender stereotypes and like gender expectation, and none of them make sense. So but also like she has this vibe, but also she like she has this vibe because she's the only woman that has a different type of interest that other women, like in the sense that she's the only one that doesn't wear skirts. She's the basically, when she was supposed to start working, the job she wanted to do was taking care of horses, and that was it. Which, like, her aunts did not like that, but and she still went that way. But that was not, in her mind, that was not to be different from other girl. It's just because it was something she enjoyed. But in the context of the world of Robert Jordan, since she was the only one not like to be that way, it felt like, oh, it's Jordan wanting to put someone that is not like other girl in his world.
Yeah, I think because you get other people that are pushing the stereotypes of gender and what they can do, but at the same time, they're still very traditionally feminine.
Yes. Like, I feel like Brigitte is a really good example of that.
Right.
She is very feminine, but she's also like, she has, I think, masculine traits, or quote unquote masculine traits to her.
Right.
Same thing with all of the Maiden of the Spears.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like they are strong fighters and very well known for that, but they're still strongly woman and feminine.
Yes.
Right, and they celebrate their femininity in some ways, in one way or the other, whereas Min is just existing, and I think that's what feels very, very... Because there's so many comments in the series about how men are so wool-headed, women are so whatever, and yes, Min makes comments about Rand being wool-headed, whatever, but also, like, it doesn't feel from her that any of those things apply to her. I guess, if that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Like, it's, I feel like, and I'm trying, I don't remember specific moments, but I feel like, so let's say Brigitte, for example, if someone were to refer to Brigitte as feminine, she would not take it, she'd be like, yeah, okay. She wouldn't feel any kind of way about it. If someone were to refer to Min as feminine, she, like, I think it's, especially at the beginning, it's something that she actively is, like, shies away from almost. Like, I don't think it's necessarily something that she enjoys. I don't know. That was always the feeling I got from her.
Yeah, I mean, in the third book, typically when she's hiding at the White Tower, and she has to dress very much like other women are dressing, and there's also, because she's dressing that way, there's also people are behaving toward her in a different way. Mostly thinking she's pretty dumb because of the story, like the backstory she's giving everyone. But she hates that people are treating her differently.
Yeah.
She also hates being, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a dead name, but she hates being referred to as Almondrera.
Yes.
And, like, not just, I don't like it, it is, I hate it, this is not who I am. And that just feels very, very queer to me.
Yeah. And it's like, do not call me that. That is not my name. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, if she weren't literally doing this for the Amerlin seat and going undercover, I mean, if it weren't literally the Pope asking her to do this, she wouldn't.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird reading it, but it's cool reading it now because I just, like, think about it and I'm like, okay, well, if this were being written today, I would probably definitely assume that Jordan would make this person genderqueer.
I think he would. I think Robert Jordan was open enough to be like, if he was presented with new information, and new ideas and new verbs or words to use to describe people, I think he would do it. I
think it would have depended on how old Robert Jordan would be here. Like, are you still assuming when you, like, that he's still the person who he was and born at a certain time and growing up through a certain period? Because genderqueer by itself, like, typically the term genderqueer is very recent. It's like late 90s.
Yes.
And I mean, when you look at generations that are a bit more aware of, like, non-binary people and questioning pronouns and questioning gender and questioning basically, like, expectation related to gender, you're going to see, like, Gen Z, younger than Gen Z, and most of millennial.
Yeah.
But more than that, it's like the older you are, the less awareness you have on that topic, because it's still a very recent topic. And I mean,
And at the same time, like, Jordan was still very, very aware of, like, the women's movement, and
Yes.
that very much inspired him. So I'm very proud of him for that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very proud of him for expanding his awareness beyond what a traditional cis-het white war veteran that fought in Vietnam would know, that you would expect someone like that to know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so I mean, to me, I think he would have included that if he were writing it today, because he would have pushed a little bit further beyond his sphere of knowledge. He would have been more aware of it, I think.
Yeah. I would like to think that is what I would like to think. Whether that's the reality of it, I don't know, because I see what you're saying, Camille. Like he grew up and came of age in a very specific time, and that was not, we didn't have that sort of terminology, at least not the way that we have it now. Not to say that genderqueer people didn't exist, because we've always existed.
But we didn't have the words.
We didn't have the words. Yeah.
We didn't have the words. And I think it would have depended on what would be his exposure to this type of issue. And I know that he was pretty close to the fandom, and the fandom is like, there's a lot of queer people in the fandom and a lot of non-binary people in the fandom too. So maybe that would have helped him, which honestly is a bit what Brandon Sanderson, how he's evolving. Like,
100%.
Right.
yeah, it's also by the exposure to his fandoms, that is a very diverse fandoms, that is also realizing that some issue are stuff that he was not aware of.
Say it, James.
Let's not start talking about how it can be problematic that Sanderson is Mormon. Let's not.
I honestly don't have an opinion of that.
I need an audiobook version of it. I need someone to read that to me so I can say that I've read it.
We need the audiobook.
Oh yes, that was the other debate of the few days.
Yeah, today it's been a spicy couple of days. My lord.
Yeah, remember when earlier all we cared about was people being dumb about Brandon's Mormonism, and now
It's a simpler time.
people are being dumb about reading? Because reading is what?
Fundamental.
Camille is like, are you guys in a cult?
You guys do know that the podcast is going to come at like late February, and nobody's going to remember any of that.
It's very true.
It'll be a blast from the past.
It will. It'll catapult people back to this terrible, terrible month of January. And they'll be like, oh yeah, okay.
Capricorn season.
Yeah. It's so funny because, like, anyone else hearing it, they'd be like, oh yeah, Capricorn, like, okay. But because I know you're just saying it to say it, James, and like it means nothing to you saying it, it just sounds so funny to me. Like, it just, yeah, Capricorn season. In the same cadence of like, oh yeah, Mondays, right? Am I right?
Am I right?
I'm just saying, like, yeah, Capricorn season.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
God.
Oh, those Capricorns, man.
Such a cap.
Yeah, such a cap.
Do we want to talk a little bit about, like, our own non-binary
Johnny?
journeys?
Journey? Question mark, question mark, question mark?
So I will say that
Yes.
I'm reading Min's wiki page on the Watt fandom, and the first descriptor is Elmendrera Min Farshaw is a woman.
I mean, I think that solves it, guys.
That's it? Episode done?
Yeah, we shouldn't have done this episode.
That's it. Let's pack it up.
In the show wiki, it is Elmendrera Min Farshaw is a character. Okay.
Interesting. Because I feel like we should talk about the show a little bit. Just a little bit with Min. Do we want to talk about that first and then go into our own?
We can start with the show, maybe. Keep the conversation a bit more on Min, and then we can get into chaos.
Okay.
I'm very confused as to why the wiki has her full name when that is not ever shown in the show, is it?
No, I don't think so.
I'm curious whether in the credits.
Yeah, I think she's credited as Min Farshaw, though.
I have a suspicion that she is. I suspect she is. Because that's the only way she's ever, that's certainly the only way she's ever referred to in the show.
Uh-huh.
That is interesting.
Who knows?
Who knows? We can never know.
probably just like, because we know who is making well, I don't remember exactly who is making the wiki for the TV show, but we know they are book readers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Just to tie things together a bit or whatever. Yeah.
I do like that she has tattoos in the show.
I do like that too.
She looks so good.
She looks so good. When they announced her, I was like, oh, okay, so we're just going there because the actor is non-binary. I'm correct in that, right? They're non-binary? Yeah.
Kay Alexander.
Kay Alexander is non-binary, which I think is a very intentional choice. And that's not to say that, like, it's because I mean, I'm sure that Kay did their audition and killed it, but
did they ever came out about that? So because I know at some point Kay was having she they pronouns on one of her bio, but I think she moved that. So so I don't know whether
if that's still the case.
Yeah.
I mean, my assumption is that if you use they pronouns, then you're some kind of non-binary, but...
Yeah. Under the umbrella of non-binary, anyway.
But it may have changed, so...
Yeah, it's completely possible.
But they look great, in any case.
They look fantastic.
And like, I already expect all of the complaints if Min ever turns out to be non-binary in the show, because people are going to want to complain. And I'm like, because they're going to be, they're changing stuff, and Min was not non-binary in the books. I'm like, yeah, but like non-binary was not a thing by the time Jordan was writing. So who knows?
Exactly. Also, I just checked their Instagram, and the pronouns are still there.
Pronouns is there. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, she, they.
She, they. Yeah. Yeah. I'm fully anticipating people to throw, like, little temper tantrums.
Are they still there? I don't see them. I see them on the their artist one.
So I'm looking at, yeah.
Kay Alexander the Great.
Yeah, she, they. It still says it on mine.
It's not on mine.
Huh. That's weird.
That's weird. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, and it's verified too. So it's her account. So
cookies.
I don't know. A mystery. Either way, yeah.
Whether they are or they are not, it's their own business. Okay, back on the topic. So, what do we see for the TV show?
I could easily, I think just in the way that Min is presented alone, I could easily see that being part of Min's journey on the show. I could see it.
Yeah.
Do we want to see the journey, or just do we want to not have a journey? Because
I would prefer there not be a journey and they just be they.
If it just is.
Yeah.
I
like that.
I would be very happy with that.
Because Wheel of Time is not there to give lessons about what non-binary is.
This is true.
Yeah.
And when you start having someone going through a journey, it really quickly feels like the topic of the week.
Yes, topic of the week. Feels like a Glee episode.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, how are we going to make that part of her journey? I mean, she can just like gently rebel against traditional gender roles. Like if someone gives her a skirt or something, she's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. How about fucking no?
Yeah, how about we don't do that?
And like, Min has such a good death glare too. Like,
she's done.
Oh, I love it. I was just I just remember the first picture, the first promo picture that dropped. I was instantly in love. It's just chef's kiss, delicious, so good.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, she just posted something on Instagram 11 hours ago.
I just know that I want to see a TV show Min use her knives, because we don't see her using them enough in the books, and this is infuriating.
Yes, it's infuriating. Listen, we have to read. Are we reading though? Or listen to.
I was going to say, I'm like, are we? Is it reading?
Is it reading?
Are we reading?
Are we reading?
Wait, am I? Oh man, now I kind of see his point, because now I'm like, wait, am I reading when I listen to you guys? Huh.
That's the question.
Wow, what is reading? It's fundamental.
It's fundamental is what it is. But we have to read Tom dancing around with his knives, which is fine. That's all well and good. Why can't we deserve Min. We deserve Min to have that same
energy.
Yeah, exactly. Why set it up and then not do it and not show it every possible opportunity?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way she's set up in season 1 is really good. Like, it gives you a very clear glimpse of, one, her abilities as someone that can see the pattern,
Mm-hmm.
and her, like, I guess the best way to put it is maybe, like, her survival instinct. Like, she was like, shit's going down, bye, peace, we're done.
I'm out of here. I know, I loved that. She was just like, nope, fuck this shit, actually. I'm out of here.
This is all bad. I do not care.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye.
Bye.
100%. I love it. I love that energy.
Goodbye. So I think that's really, I love that aspect of it.
Yes.
But I do want to see a lot more character growth and character journey for her in season 2.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting we're going to get it because I believe her aunts have been cast for season 2.
Yes.
So we're getting some backstory. I'm thinking we're getting some backstory.
And that feels like, it kind of feels like that might be a cold open.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
So I think that would be really interesting.
I would love that. Yeah.
That leads me to a completely random question, but like we know that in the books she's raised by 3 aunts, and we're kind of assuming that those are 3 sisters raising Min. If we have 2 aunts, could that be like just the lesbian couple who raised her?
I would love that. I would love it. It would make so much sense. What is wrong, James?
Nothing, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You don't want that?
James is grimacing.
No, it's fine. We were talking about Kay Alexander not being into NFTs, and then it looks like actually her Twitter was hacked, and
Yes.
now it's all NFTs.
Well, that makes sense. that makes sense then. Do you feel a little bit more at ease?
I'm hoping it was hacked.
Yes, it has been hacked. But it has been months old and it's still not sold. Damn.
Oh, wow. Look who's in charge of Twitter. Are we surprised?
She probably said, I'm hacked. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
I wasn't on Twitter anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on board with her being raised by a couple of
Lesbian aunts.
adorable lesbians. That would be great.
That'd be fun.
Now can we talk about our...
Yes, we can talk about our stuff now, James. Yes, we can.
It's kind of intimidating because it's actually not something I've ever talked to about to anyone. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, now I can go first. Just to make it easier. If that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
Okay, so for me, I never really understood the point of gender as a kid. In my early teens, I was very I feel like all of our problems would be solved if we didn't have traditional gender roles. If men didn't feel they had to behave a certain way because of societal standards, and that would get rid of the patriarchy, and we could just I don't know. It was just, that was what my early teens were like. I was just gender is stupid. End.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really think about how that related to me personally until probably a few years ago, really, when I started being exposed to more and more of terminology. I remember hearing non-binary and thinking, well, I heard NB, and personally, on a personal level, that is just me and not about anybody else. I think that's a dumb term. Because I'm a judgmental bitch.
Yes, you
no
are.
kidding.
It feels like just a very cutesy version of I'm NB. And I'm I don't know. That's just me. Literally nothing against anybody that identifies as non-binary. Well, a non-binary is fine. If you identify as NB, then I'm oh, it's fine-ish.
It's fine-ish.
So for me, I didn't really start looking, and I didn't think it was me. I didn't feel attached to any one gender. I wasn't boy, yay, girl, yay. No. And then I saw the description for I was going through them, and I'm do any of these work for me? Any of them? And I kind of came across agender, and I was oh, okay, so that's just no gender. That's great. That's what I love.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, it kind of like, there's lots of different ways that agender can be described, but essentially it's just like the absence of gender.
Yep.
Some agender people kind of relate more towards one side or the other. But for the most part, like the common thread is gender is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Gender is bullshit and completely. And again, like gender is completely made up. It is a social construct.
Yeah, gender is a social construct. Actually, yeah, I think that might have been one of the things is Sasha Velour saying gender's a construct, tear it apart.
Yep.
That might have been like an early like, oh.
Interesting.
Planting the seed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's kind of always, that's something I've been exploring. I pretty much identify as not as agender. I use they them pronouns because they feel more natural to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not opposed to he him pronouns, but they're not preferred. But I'm not going to yell at people for doing that. So
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll yell at people for doing it.
I mean, I just don't care enough.
Yeah.
And I also like feel really, I'm like, I don't want people to make a big deal out of it for me personally, because that just makes it so much more awkward.
Yes.
Yeah. I get that.
When someone is like, I'm having a conversation with someone or we're all at a table together and they're like, James, he, and I'm like, and then they like, James, they, I'm so sorry, they, and I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Please calm down.
I didn't even clock it because I don't care. Because I'm not listening. Because you're boring.
Valid.
But I'm just like, oh, okay. Because now the conversation isn't about whatever we were talking about. It's about me being non-binary or me being agender. And I'm like, okay, well, we were getting coffee, but I guess now I'm going to tell you about my gender.
I guess now we're doing this.
Here's a little pamphlet that I made.
Maybe that's what we should start doing. It's just making up these little pamphlets. Like Christians, they go around with these little tracts that they give out to people.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we should start doing.
Instead of giving people your cards with your phone number and your email address, you give them a card with the basic.
With the basic rundown.
You have situational ones where you're like, one is like, oops, you used he, him. On the other side, it's like, I prefer they, them pronouns. It's okay. Don't make a big deal of it. Just use this as a learning opportunity. For more information about pronouns, please go to...
I'm just picturing the oops being like much bigger than everything else and in cursive. It's just like, oops, and then...
Oops.
For the address you send them to, it's just the let me Google that for you, but with non-binary.
That's 100%.
Yeah, it's just...
Oh my god. I know. It's so the place where I work, I'm very, very grateful to work in a place that's very accepting. They're very LGBTQ positive. My manager, both of my manager and my supervisor are both gay men or queer men. And I told them when I first started, I was like, my pronouns are she, they. If you mess up, please don't worry about it. My manager still is like, we'll say she, and then we'll be like, and like, it's fine.
What?
She's...
Don't call HR. Don't call HR, please.
She's one of the genders, one of the pronouns that I'm completely fine with.
She is, in fact, one of the genders.
She is one of the genders. Is that the episode title? Anyway.
Could be.
She is one of the genders. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
It is. I think so. And yeah, there's this instant panic in his eyes where whenever he refers, or if I talk about my partner who uses they, them, oh my God, it's a lot. And it is stressful. I find it very stressful. And so people who are cishet, please just be cool about it.
Just chill the fuck out.
'Cause I promise you, there's nothing as awkward as it is to be misgendered and as uncomfortable as it is, it's so much worse when you make it a thing.
Because when they make it a thing, they make it about them.
Yes, exactly. Then it centers them and yeah.
Are we going to go there, James?
Say it.
I'm just saying, like, some people that have a hard time understanding the difference between audiobooks and physical books also may have a hard time understanding gender
Oh no!
and pronouns. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, for some people, lots of things are confusing.
Words are confusing.
Yeah.
Verbs, nouns, adjectives.
Oh,
Tricky.
gosh. Adverbs. Wow.
Wow.
Don't even get me started on adverbs. Oh my god.
Can I add agreement in French? Is that the worst thing ever?
Mm-hmm. Adverbs?
No, agreement. It's just the fact that everything has a gender. So every adjectives and everything, you have to make the agreement.
Mm-hmm.
That's always when I'm trying to learn a new gender, I'm like,
A new gender?
A new gender?
or a new gender. When I'm trying to learn a new language, I'm like, chair is boy,
Chairs. I know.
chair is boy, lamp is girl.
Yeah. It's, oh my god. I'm relearning French and it's like, you guys, listen, y'all have to chill with the masculine and feminine.
You know, it's very political about...
Is it?
Okay, historically, there's some politics behind that. For example,
Okay.
like when you have a group of people, if there's at least one man among them, you're gonna make the argument all the time with the masculine. That was not the original rules. Like, is it early 20th century or early 19th century? Early 19th century, I think. I don't remember exactly, but at some point, like, the rules used to be you would make the agreement with the thing that is the closest to the thing you have to make the agreement on. So, for example, if you have like two persons, Pierre and Louise, then you have a verb and then they do something and you have an adjective that you have to do the agreement on. Since like the last person, the closest to adjective would be like a woman, then you would do the agreement as a woman.
I see.
That's the agreement that used to be done. And then it got changed to the masculine win over the feminine. And it's basically how we are teaching that. It's like, yeah, it's really the masculine win over the feminine.
So if there's one boy,
Yeah.
if there's even one penis, everything has to be penis.
It has to be penis. Everything is penis.
Yes.
Everything is penis.
And there's also, like, for example, when they made the dictionary, like the first dictionary, so like a long time ago, it's like before that there was this time where, since nothing was really written or there was not a lot of rules about what's known was which gender, a lot of things were like, some people would use different gender for different name depending of where they were in France or whatever. So they tried to make rules about what should be of what gender.
Right.
So how do they make the rule? Well, things that seems to have masculine qualities, they're going to be masculine, and things that seems to have feminine quality are going to be feminine. And then you're going to have like things that, like an eagle was the symbol of a king, the royalty.
Okay.
I think, or the empire. I don't remember exactly when that was, and I don't remember my history about that. But that was a name that used to be feminine. But since it was, a symbol of king or royalty or empire, this kind of things, they changed it to masculine.
Oh boy.
So there's a lot. So it's a bit political, and
Yeah.
and there's not, like, I grew up not having, like, we have the singular they in English. We don't have that in French.
That's true.
We are starting to make pronouns.
I mean, do we have the singular they?
Questionable.
The singular they in English is technically older than the plural you.
Then you. Yeah. Yeah.
And people even that disagree with gender or whatever, they still use it without even realizing it.
All the time.
All the fucking time.
Yep. Because it's just ingrained in the way that we speak.
Because it's a grammar rule. It's like someone has lost their bag. You don't know who that someone is. It's a they. It's a singular they.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really not that hard.
It's a grammar rule. So we don't have that in French, which means we are creating new pronouns, but like, it's like neopronoun in English. They're harder to
Yeah.
to get into the mainstream language.
Yes, right.
Yeah, it's hard to get into the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah, exactly.
Typically as a kid, like, we have so many expressions. I don't know is it in English, but like in France, like where I grew up, it's always like, oh yes, it's normal, he's a boy. Oh yes, it's normal, she's a girl. Like there's always all of those expectations. And like I have 3 sisters, so it was 4 daughters. And in my mom family, like we were the 4th daughter of the only daughter of the family, and she had 3 brothers, and all of her brothers had mostly boys. So we were the only girls in the family. So there's always this expectation, oh, we were supposed to behave, or the boys were supposed to behave and not compared to us. And I'm like, and I was a tomboy when I was a kid.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah, like, I mean, I had short hair when I was maybe like 8, something like that.
Aww.
And it's really something that I didn't realize was a big thing because my mom used to have pretty short hair too.
Yeah.
But then, like, everyone started calling me a boy, which made me feel weird. So I started growing them again in middle school. And then I cut everything after high school because literally I could not recognize myself in a mirror. So yeah, my gender has always been very complicated for me. And I'm still not sure where I go. I'm basically starting using they, them during the pandemic because the fact that I was alone, mostly talking to people online, felt that when getting into new online community, I could just use that and I don't have to come out to people that I already know.
Right.
And I don't think I have a lot of real people that, like, in real life people that knows which pronoun I use. Like, I think the only person that actually knows is my previous manager. Because at some point, like, we had a discussion about, it was on a general channel within the company. Like, I don't remember, like, there's maybe like 300 person on that channel. It's a big company. And we were talking about hiring and how we could, I don't know, make it more open and this kind of thing. And I know, like, one of the suggestions was that, like, interviewers that are, like, okay with that could just add their pronoun if they want. And it's not an obligation, but, like, if you want to, you could.
Right.
And I know I was talking a little bit about that. And my manager at that time then messaged me. I was like, by the way, is there any pronoun you want me to use for you?
Oh.
Aww.
That's very nice.
And, like, I know on my personal page, like, in my company, like, you have a general team website where you can check out everyone's address, like everyone, not address, but like everyone email and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a directory.
Yeah, kind of. And like you can check like what their teams they are, their colleagues and this kind of thing. And anyway, on that website, you can put your pronouns. So mine on that website as she, they. Okay. Because I'm still not confident to switch to they everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But it still feels very weird whenever people call me she in meetings and everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's very a complicated topic for me because, like, I'm also in a very male-dominated field. Yeah. So I feel like if I'm not a woman, am I betraying other women?
Not even slightly.
Yeah.
Not even slightly. But I know I understand. I get it. I get it. It's it feels. I think a lot of the time, queer people are put in positions where we have just only shitty options. Like the options we have, it's either you speak your truth, you say the thing, you say this is what I would like to be called, this is what I'd like to be referred to as, and risk potentially it being super awkward or people being hostile about it, or you say, okay, I'm just gonna not do that, and then the alternative is, well, okay, I just have to sit with pronouns that really I am not comfortable with. And they're both shitty, and we shouldn't have to make those choices, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm in a similar place at work. I mean, I work in construction. It's very male dominated. It's very conservative, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm already pushing the limits by being a gay. So I don't want to be like, oh, and
can I say something stupid?
Yes.
I thought you were gonna say you're already pushing the limits by being in HR.
Yes. Yes, I am already pushing all of the boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are.
I am very boundary breaking. No. No, it's just like weirdly, everyone is cool with me being gay, like at work. I guess I'm pretty sure it's just because I'm in the Pacific Northwest where everyone's
Yeah.
they're afraid to say anything if they don't. So, and I'm okay with that.
Yes.
But I feel like if I come out as a gender at work, they would be like, that's some liberal nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just don't have time for it.
Yeah.
It takes less spoons for me to deal with it than it does for me to deal with all the questions afterwards.
Yeah. I absolutely get it.
Sometimes it's very frustrating whenever people think it's just a liberal thing, but like, what's the point of gender? It's just a bunch of like.
Yeah.
The thing is that what frustrates me a lot is that for a long time I was asking myself, okay, what does it mean to be a woman? And every time I was like, we know it's not biology. We know it's not whether you have a uterus or not. It's not whether you can get kids or not. It's not how you look. It's not what you like. It's not how you dress, because like clothes don't have a gender.
Yeah.
So what it is, and the only thing we have in common with women is that we have to deal with patriarchy.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
is that really what I want to define my gender by?
Yeah.
The fact that misogyny exists and we have to deal with that every single freaking day? No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, fuck that shit.
So I'm still traumatized because, like, for Christmas, like, you know, when you're a kid and you have the pages for the boys and the pages for the girls, and
Oh
like
boy.
all the cool toys were in the
Yes.
boy section, and I could not have them because I was a fucking girl. And I'm like,
Oh.
can we please stop that bullshit? I really wanted the construction stuff.
Yeah,
All the fun engineering toys were on the boys section.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like sometimes I just really wonder what my life would have been like if I had been like if gender had been less of a thing culturally. And I try not to go down that road too often because I don't want it to be like
Depressed.
I don't know. I don't live in regret really. Like I don't see the point in it. Like you can't the what ifs and the whatevers, like they don't serve a purpose for me. Like it's a good mental exercise.
You'll drive yourself out of your mind.
Right. Like it's a good mental exercise to like develop emotional awareness and skills and stuff, and that's great, but I already have those, so I don't need to whatever.
Exactly.
But it would just be very interesting. Like I do get emotional when I see like a boy wearing a dress because I'm just like, oh,
That's awesome.
that's like awesome. Yeah, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
Or like I have friends who have boys that let them wear whatever they want, wear tiaras, whatever, and it's just part of like playing with gender. And I don't know, I just think gender is so stupid.
It is. 100% is.
It's just so fucking dumb.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I just want the same pockets and men's have.
Oh, listen, I can't. Oh.
Listen, I have switched to men jeans a year ago and I will never go back to women jeans ever.
RJ says the exact same thing. It's the pockets. It's just not. It's not right. It's not right.
There's a water bottle in my pocket sometimes.
Yeah, I can fit a water bottle in my pocket most of the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Just a whole water bottle.
What?
Like a 16.9 ounce water bottle.
Wow.
I think that's 500 milliliters.
Good lord. It's not right. It's not right.
It's not right, but it's okay.
But it's okay.
I'm gonna make
it.
It's a very stupid example.
Yeah.
For Christmas, I asked my parents to find me some warm PJs because it may be dumb, but like I moved from California to the UK and it's cold during the night.
Yes.
So I was like, just, you know, some very comfy, like PG. My dad has those kind of very,
Like flannel?
yeah, flannel PJs. And my mom tried to find some, but she still buys in the women's section.
Yeah.
So she got some flannel. They are like,
Tight.
no, they're super light. It's not warm at all. And I was like, Yeah, I mean, they're cute. I like them.
Yeah.
But like, that's not exactly what I wanted. I wanted the comfy thing that's gonna keep me warm during winter.
Yes.
And seems like only men can have this kind of thing. I'm like, what the fuck?
Apparently.
Apparently, I need to buy everything in men now.
In men, yeah. Oh my God.
So gender sucks.
It does.
Gender's stupid.
Absolutely agree.
Men would murder gender.
Men would murder gender. I agree.
I have so many troubles with clothes. It's
Yeah.
like I want to wear a suit for my twins' wedding. I'm like, I don't even know where I'm gonna buy that because I don't want a typically female suit.
I mean, you're going to have to get it tailored.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so freaking expensive.
Oh, yeah.
It is. I know there are some companies now that are coming up that specifically make clothes for genderqueer or non-binary people, and so that might be an option. They tend to be a bit pricey because that is something that that RJ struggles with a lot because RJ is short, so they'll try getting stuff from the men's section, and of course it's long in the weirdest ways.
It's a dress, and they're like, no, I want to get away from this.
Exactly. And so there are some places that they shop and they can get like really nice shirts that actually fit. But they tend to be a bit pricier, but so I think they think it's worth it because it stops the dysphoria that you know, and just like comfort purely for comfort, it's, you know, it's a better option for sure.
I feel like in London I should be able to find something because London is so big that it's definitely...
You should... I would suspect so. Yeah, it's such a big city. Yeah.
It's still mentally so stressful because there's always this fear that you're going to try you're going to go into places and people are going to tell you, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always I need a place to be very publicly queer friendly before I even consider asking any kind of questions like that.
Yeah, it's scary. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Finding a place to cut your hair.
Oh, well, yeah. That is the whole thing.
I have a boob tax.
Oh, yeah.
Do they have barbers? Do they have to have just barbers, right?
Barbers are for men, and
right.
There's so many barbers where you as a woman you cannot enter at all.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's
fucked up.
It's really the place of the men, and a lot of men don't like when they have non-men in those places. So I did find one in Oxford, but it's basically because it's a woman cutting hair, so she don't care.
Yeah.
But she does have different prices for men and women. So
yikes.
So I'm paying a little bit more, but it's still reasonable. Okay, no, but I'm sorry, I keep talking, but it's just there's so many gender fucked up experience and sometimes gender cool experience.
That's what this episode is for.
I went to my hairdresser, I went to the hairdresser I used to go to as a kid for the first time in many, many years during the Christmas break. And I was there, and at first I was like, oh, do you want to get a shampoo? Because she used to cut my hair with scissors and this kind of thing. I was like, can we instead do clippers on the back and then a scissor on the top? And I thought she was going to make me pay classic woman haircuts. She made me pay the men price.
Oh.
I was not expecting it. I was like,
that's good.
That's nice.
I take forever when I get my hair cut because I am very high maintenance when it comes to getting my hair done.
No.
And I have a very good relationship with my stylist because we have established over the 7 years that we've been working together, this is how she has to do it. And I need it washed before and after. And
Wow.
And she has to do it in a certain order, and she has to do a razor cut on the sides just to make sure that it all lays evenly. And she still only charges me the men price.
She must like you a lot.
I mean, she does. I literally went there the first day that they opened their business.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Because, yeah, I'm like,
yeah,
I know I know I'm benefiting from the patriarchy right now, but oops.
I'm very, very, so my barber is in the city where my partner lives. and it's an LGBTQ positive barbershop. And so my barber is a woman, but there are men that work there as well. And it's like, I just remember the first time I went, when I went to get my side shave for the first time, which was like, a lot more emotional than I thought it was going to be, because I just remember looking at myself in the mirror and seeing myself and realizing like, oh, okay, this is me. I feel like everything that came before was not me.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the closest that I've ever gotten to me, that I've ever gotten, that like I think I've ever come before. And my barber is awesome, and also just charges the same price for everyone, which is like, it shouldn't be a nice surprise, but it is because it's very, very rare that you get that with a barbershop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that I have to thank the pandemic, because it's because of the pandemic that I started using Air Clipper.
I feel like a lot of queer people had to take matters into their own hands with the...
Yeah, mine at some point, it was mostly a ski helmet, so I just did it myself.
Yeah.
I think I'm not going to be too long, I promise, but I wanted to talk a bit about my journey.
Yeah.
A little bit. Mine is very, it feels new and old at the same time. I've always had a weird relationship with my femininity. And I think, unfortunately, Black women and their relationship to femininity is complicated, because Black women aren't allowed to be feminine, and the default is assumed to be masculine. And I mean, as a kid, I was also a tomboy, and I hated wearing dresses. I didn't, I felt like I was always trapped between wanting to be feminine and also wanting to be masculine at the same time. And I thought that I had to choose. And so there was a period of time where I was very tomboyish and just dressed in like big sweaters and track pants and jogging pants and all of that. And then there was a period of time where I basically just gave in to what my parents wanted for me, which is to be a woman and to be girly and to wear dresses and all of that. And I knew it didn't feel right. I knew it didn't feel right for me, but it's easier sometimes to just go along with it, because for me, there was also the added layer of, I grew up in a very religious family. And so forget like queerness is not a thing. Anything other than male or female is like extra not a thing. Like I can see a possible future where my mom might become okay with me being queer. I don't think she would ever be accepting of me going by they.
Yeah.
Like I don't think she would ever accept that, because it's just yeah. And so it was confusing for me a lot of the time, and it wasn't really, I think since the pandemic, where when you're in a situation where you have a lot of time by yourself and a lot of time to think, that is, for me anyway, that's one of the positive things, weirdly, that came out of the pandemic, because it gave me a lot of time to sort of think about how I identify and what I feel comfortable with. And I asked my partner to, I think that they feels right to me. Can you start referring to me as they? And I just remember the first time like that it regularly started happening. I was like, oh, this feels good. I get like this sort of almost euphoric rush when that happens. And I wasn't expecting it. And then in the reverse, there were times where I would hear she from other people and I would almost flinch because there was something that didn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like everything inside me flinched, and I wasn't expecting that either. And so, I mean, really just this past year or maybe year and a half has been kind of me figuring out I don't need to choose, and both can be true. And, you know, there are some days where I want to express my femininity a little bit more, and I feel good about that. And especially as a Black woman, I feel really good about owning that. And then also there are some days where I want to play more with my masculine side, which also feels really, really good. And I think that's the way that I dress has changed a lot in the past. I think even in the past 6 months, and just like feeling confident enough to buy things from the men's section. And like, you know, like just like getting like even just like sleep shirts where just like buying from the men's section and being like, this feels so good. This feels so natural. Like it's just, yeah. And so it's been confusing, which I think, I mean,
because nothing can be easy.
Because nothing can be easy. But yeah, it's been good, and it feels good to sort of be on, I think, sort of the road to figuring out how I fit in and how I feel in my skin and all of that. And right now, genderqueer feels really good for me because, I don't know. I don't have a specific reason. It just feels good. Or not genderqueer, gender fluid, is what works for me.
It just is. And that's totally okay.
Yeah, it just is. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it...
I think my favorite expression of gender is if I'm confusing you, then I did my job right. Then you're as much confused as me, and that sounds about right.
Imagine how I feel.
You're like, welcome to the fucking club, friend.
We're all confused here.
Doesn't make sense? Okay, cool. Good job.
Yeah. And it's like, there's, I think there's a lot of power in like, you know, I think a lot of the time we were like, no, there has to be an answer. There has to be a solution. And sometimes it's okay to just sit with things. And it's okay for there not to be like a firm one way or the other answer. And that's okay.
And it's okay to like not have the expectation be that eventually you're going to get there.
Exactly.
Like, it's okay to literally just, this is what it is. It might change, it might not, but this is how it is now. You have more important things to deal with. Like, I'm not saying that you're not important. You should deal with yourself, but I'm just saying, like, you know, go do your taxes.
Yes, taxes are important. Oh God, that's coming up, isn't it?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, Jesus.
I have to do taxes for 2 countries this
year.
Oh,
no, Camille. Oh, no.
And I'm gonna have to pay taxes for the US for like 4 more years, so...
Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Best wishes, warmest regards.
Warmest regards, yep.
Yeah. But like, I like what you were saying about not needing to figure out everything yet. It's kind of like, you know, a few days ago when we were talking about doing this episode where you were actually asking me how I would identify, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have time to think about names. I don't want to think about names because like one of the reasons why I don't like gender is that because it's so many expectations. And I feel like by trying to define my gender in a way that put me in another box, I'm just putting more expectation on myself. I don't want any expectation. I just want to do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. No, and I get that. Like, for me, I'm like, yes, I currently identify as agender because it feels like the right thing, but fuck, it may change. And if it does, everybody can fucking deal with it. I'm dealing with it. It's fine.
Exactly. It's fine. It's the least important thing about someone. Like, and that's not to say like someone like of course your identity is important.
Again, like literally this is where I was like 2 seconds ago. I'm like,
I know.
Okay, so it's not that you're not important.
It's not that you're not important. It's just like, this is like, it's a fact on, for me, it's a fact on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's a fact on like it's a fact that you fill out on a piece of paper. Who are you as a person? That's what's more important to me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm just like, don't get hung up on it. This isn't me to you, Camille. This is me to everybody in the entire world. Just don't get caught up on fucking everything. Like, it's just, there's too many other things to deal with. Spend time. Get a hobby.
Exactly.
I have a podcast. Is that a hobby good enough for you?
There you go.
That's a hobby.
That's a hobby. It certainly is.
And you're not worrying about your gender identity. So, look.
That's true. Look at us. Look at us winning.
It's okay. I have to say, making this podcast with you guys made me a lot more comfortable with some part of queerness that I just never really had to like. I mean, again, I'm in a very male-dominated field. I don't have a lot of queer people surrounding me, and it's just so nice to be able to have a group of queer friends to talk with. And to talk to. And yeah.
It's good to be gay.
It is so good to be gay. Being gay, being queer, it really does. I didn't realize how much it meant to me, and it shouldn't feel like a revelation, but getting to like having a group of queer friends is important. it's important and it feels so good getting to talk about queer topics with friends, with queer friends. Oh my God.
I'm still trying to find the queer people in Oxford, and I may have found one because, it's basically I joined a Discord for something completely unrelated to this podcast or the Wheel of Time. And we were basically talking a bit about where we were, and someone mentioned they were in Oxford, and I was like, hey, I just moved to Oxford. Can you show me the good spots here?
I mean, so
there you go.
Little bit of a tip. It's a lot easier to meet queer people if you're a slut. So
I'm not a slut. And you know that.
Camille, you gotta become a slut is what James is saying.
I'm not saying you gotta. I'm just saying it's much easier. Do you know how many gay people I know?
Everyone you slept with.
Everyone you slept with.
Everyone I've slept with.
Yeah.
I know a lot of gay people.
I can't relate.
My circle is expanding.
Yeah, I'm very happy for you, James.
I mean, that's why I was late to this recording.
Oh, I see. Well, that's good to know. That is added information. We got a notification about like maybe 15 minutes before, and James is like, yeah, I'm going to be about 5 minutes late.
I had to shower.
Okay.
Good for you. I'm happy for you.
There's no judgment. That's good. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was great.
You're getting all the sex that I don't get, so good for you.
Oh, am I getting your portion of sex?
I think so at this stage, maybe.
That's what's happening.
When you start getting sexually active, I am going to have a dry spell. Perfect.
You know when that happens, then.
When you're no longer dry, I will be.
Okay. Maybe it's time for us to stop here.
Are you still thankful for this podcast, Camille?
Still, because you cannot make these kind of jokes with like the random folks I'm working with.
It's very true. That's accurate.
It is not safe for the heterosexuals.
This is not hetero talk. This is not hetero talk at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Someone else do the outro.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. If you liked our content, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. That's what it's called. Yes. Also follow us on our socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, while it's still there. What else? There's something else I'm forgetting. Discord. All at Queers of Times. And also, we have a Patreon. We have lots of cool benefits there. Support us on Patreon because this is expensive. Thank you so much.
We're coming up on a year. Like, we're going to have our yearly renewals.
Yes.
We still have plenty of time before the year.
Shh. We just need their money. Shh.
We need their money, Camille.
I feel bad about taking people money.
No. They're giving it to us.
We aren't all software engineers, Camille.
That's true.
It's true.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.